Welcome back to Virginia This Morning.
If you work from home, how can you make sure that you actually work in your home?
Susie Hayman says staying organized will help you work smarter instead of harder. Susie, how do we get our home office organized? This looks so pretty.
The first thing you have to do, Julie, is find a place for your home office. Believe it or not, that's one of the biggest issues that I find when I go into a client's home. Designate a specific place for the office or a specific corner of a room for an office. Then you've got to decide what the office is going to be used for. You've got to decide if it's going to be used for personal, business, or a combination of both. Now, you can have both in the same room. I'm not saying that. But you do need to separate the two. Separate filing systems, even if it's a separate filing cabinet, a separate email address, a separate phone line, all of those things need to be separated. Your children's activities, your family's activities, your personal life, your professional life.
Yeah, I find a lot of people who work from home have that problem because if they're home all day, the kids think that they have access to them at any time.
Right.
Or that, you know, you can do laundry while you're doing your work. Of course, you're working from home.
Exactly.
But you really do need to separate the two.
You do need to separate the two. And there's nothing wrong with having your children allowed in your office. But set up a separate little station for them so that they have their own space. Because that's the second thing. A lot of us don't have the luxury of having a separate office in our home that's all ours. I share an office with my husband. I have one side, he has the other side. But we separate the two so that one doesn't tend to infringe on the other. And you can do the same with children.
And I would imagine you and your husband have different systems for how you keep everything organized.
Exactly. I organize him.
Well, you've brought a couple of different ways to organize things on the desktop so that you can easily get to them, because I waste so much time looking for things, and that's my goal this year, is to get organized.
This is my favorite, the stair sorter, I call it, along with these little plastic protectors.
So
these
kind
are
of a color
good.
code.
They're color coded. You can also see through them. As you can see, I have things in them. And these are great for action items. When you have your to-dos, instead of having a pile of things on your desk, we all have piles.
Oh, yeah.
And usually piles are things to do, or they're things that you don't know what to do with. They don't have a home. So those things like to phone, to email, to review later, that's a big one, to write. Use all those action verbs to separate your to-dos. Now, you could also use these for specific projects you're working on.
And then color coordinate.
You could have one for Virginia This Morning. You could have one for the 12 o'clock news.
One for the 5, one for the 5:30, yeah.
Exactly.
And on and on.
So all the projects, these are good because they're out, they're visible. And generally, like I said, people say that piles are there because they don't know what to do with the things, or they're things they don't want to lose track of because they're really important.
And that's great because you can see them at a glance.
You can see them at a glance.
Now, then you've got this file with the hanging folders in it.
This is another alternative. You could use this for similar things. I've color-coded different hanging files in here according to different types of categories that you might have within a business. For example, some of these might be marketing related, some of them are human resource related, some of them are financial, and you can categorize that way. You'll also notice, I think you can see here, that I've got tabs located all on one side and they're labeled. I think we all grew up staggering the little tabs. And they work a lot better if you justify them all to one side, and you can just flip through them very easily and see what you have there. Then when you add a file, you don't have to worry about moving all the tabs around.
See, that's perfect. And it's organized, and we can see it at once.
Right.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So great tips.